Taiwan has been accused of buying billions of dollars worth of Russian fossil fuels and selling them on to the West. A new report out today warns the trade risks triggering US sanctions and tariffs on Taiwan as Donald Trump seeks to end the war in Ukraine. Asia correspondent Stash Butler reports from Taipei.
This is the vast Taiwanese industrial plant accused of financing Russia's war in Ukraine. The Mailiao refinery is run by Formosa Petrochemical Corporation. A new analysis says it's shipped in about $2 billion worth of Russian naphtha this year alone. The report is by environmental groups CREA, ERF, Ecodefense and Urgevold. It finds that since the war began, Formosa Petrochemical has bought more than $7 billion of Russian naphtha. It says most has come from a company called Novatech, which is under US sanctions. The naphtha is processed in Taiwan along with oil from the Middle East. Then it's re-exported to Western nations. And one country has bought more than the rest.
So Australia has bought billions of US dollars worth of refined fuels from the Mailiao refinery in Taiwan that is reliant on molecules from Russia.
That money matters here, in Ukraine, where Russian bombardment is fueled by sales of oil, gas and coal. It's not clear how much of what Australia buys comes from Russian naphtha and not Middle Eastern oil, but any Russian fuel reaching Australia would undermine Canberra's support for Kyiv. In response to this report, a spokesperson for the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade told Sky News Australia has imposed over 1,600 sanctions in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The importation of goods that are produced or transformed in third countries using Russian origin feedstock is not prohibited under Australian sanctions laws. Regrettably, the international community currently lacks the mechanisms necessary to track and monitor such products effectively. We're evaluating options to place further pressure on Russia's oil revenues, and the Australian government will continue to take strong action.
Unlike Australia, Taiwan has not put in place a complete ban on Russian energy imports. Taipei has placed other sanctions on Russia, and it's given $75 million in aid to Ukraine. But the report's authors say by allowing the purchases of Russian naphtha, Taipei has effectively handed Moscow $2.5 billion in tax revenue since the war began.
That's a source of shame for the report's Taiwanese co-author, Xin Quan-sun.
I'm proud of Taiwan because it stands for human rights and democracy in many instances. But in this particular case, I think it is not upholding the democratic values that it is supposed to uphold.
But there's more at stake than values. US President Donald Trump has recently imposed extra tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. Taiwan risks the same fate as Trump tries to pressure Russia to end its war. That's why the report's authors are calling on Formosa and Taiwan to divest.
The Taiwanese government should work with those companies to enable them to phase out Russian fossil fuels as quick as possible.
Sky News emailed Taiwan's economy ministry and Formosa Petrochemical for comment on this report, but did not receive a response. It leaves the island in a delicate spot, risking America's anger in exchange for cheap foreign fuel. Stash Butler, Sky News, Taipei.